Welcome back to Breakfast Television. Well, yes, the long weekend is almost here, and no matter what your plans are, most people will grab their cameras and want to capture the good times. But let's make sure your photos turn out. We have photographer Christopher Holmes here this morning to help us do that. And Christopher, it sounds very basic, but the first point we want to make is bring your camera.
Absolutely, yeah. Obviously, preparedness is part of any job or any hobby, but yeah, if you don't bring your camera, you're not going to get the shot. So, yeah, it's important to have the equipment with you, but especially the camera, even if it's the point and shoot digital.
Yeah, and a lot of us just forget to have it along with us. Throughout these points, we're going to be showing off some of Christopher's photos, and that is just spectacular. Where's that, Christopher?
That's on the way to the Giant Steps waterfall in just beyond Canmore.
That is
but
gorgeous.
It's an avalanche which just broke off the mountain there. And obviously, without the camera in your kit, you're not going to get that kind of a shot.
You capture that moment because you had your camera with you. Another point you make is get comfortable with your camera, and a lot of us have these fancy cameras, we don't know how to use them.
Yeah, it's everyone's in the digital age. Everyone's got a camera now, and everyone can be a reasonable photographer. The problem is obviously the settings on the camera. If you don't have enough knowledge about your camera, point and shoot are going to work every time, but to get the really good shots, it's good to, for example, read the manual. We all fail to do it.
Oh yeah, there's that.
With everything, yeah. But yeah, be familiar with your camera and try and use your imagination and try and take care with the surrounding light conditions, for example. But if you don't know your camera, then you can tend to overexpose or underexpose, which is obviously isn't a happy situation when you come to develop your pictures and to print them. Yeah.
And these new cameras, these new digital cameras are so wonderful, but we do need to know how to use them. Another point you make is trust your eye. What do you mean by that?
It's instinctual, subjective. Photography is a subjective subject or hobby and profession. And if you see a view, then trust your eye. If you can take a decent shot, composing the shot, that's what it really means. If you're able to compose a decent shot and take into account all the conditions. This is a difficult shot here because you've got a lot of backlighting, a cityscape with quite a lot of activity, and then in the foreground a snow scene. So framing the photograph, composing the photograph, and trusting your instinct and your subjective reflexes in the way in which you compose the photograph.
I love that photo. A familiar scene, and you just made it extra special with the post in the front. Another point you make is critique your work. How do you do that?
Yeah, well, obviously other people are going to critique your work, but if you can do it for yourself, then that's going to add an element of objectivity. If it's possible, it's a subjective thing to do is photography, but if you can critique your own work and maybe vary some of the factors like the exposure, the
You
printing.
took this photo?
Yeah, this is out near Drumheller. It's one of the few remaining grain elevators in Alberta here. And yeah,
were you pleased with this photo?
I was. That's a good question. Yeah, I was pleased with it. It's an imposing structure, even though it's derelict, and it says something about the history of the province and also the environment there. So yeah, I was very pleased.
That's wonderful. I love that. Natural light is so important.
Yeah, the times to shoot really, I find, for me, are with landscapes and cityscapes. Early morning, just around dawn, and then pre-dusk. The lighting is usually a bit more spectacular. Here in Alberta, you have fantastic winds, the Chinook winds.
This is gorgeous.
Yeah,
when was this photo taken?
This photo was taken about 6 o'clock on a midsummer's morning, and there was a storm pending, but it wasn't actually, it hadn't actually broken. And then just as I was shooting, the storm broke, so it created a sort of moat effect around the city.
That's spectacular.
Yeah, it made the city look different with a better
you prefer
dynamic background there.
You prefer dawn and pre-dusk?
I do, yeah. That's the times when I do most of my work. Yeah, that's conducive to the lighting conditions are conducive to the kind of work that I do. Yeah, panoramic photography.
Thank you for getting us inspired. Your work is beautiful. If you want to check out some more of Christopher Holmes' photos, expanseimagery.com. We'll have a link of his work on our website. That is btcalgary.ca. Inspired to head on out there with your camera around your neck or at least in your pocket and take some good photos this weekend. Christopher, thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.